Hard to believe it, but we are almost there. Canada set to play in a FIFA World Cup game for the first time since 1986. Hey everyone, Rob Wong, joined alongside by national soccer columnist Derek Van Diest, who joins me from Doha, Qatar, to preview the upcoming World Cup. And Derek, right now, front and center, of course, is the health of Alphonso Davies, who recently injured his hamstring. What is his status, and is he going to be ready next Wednesday against Belgium?
He's supposed to be good to go. Apparently the injury that happened a couple weeks ago, he pulled his hamstring, or it was a hamstring, I think they called it a strain. He missed the last two games of the German Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, but they said that it would not affect his World Cup participation. Now, saying that, John Herdman is being cautious with his star player. He wasn't going to play against Japan regardless. He may even sit out the opening game of the tournament against Belgium. So it all depends on how that hamstring is healing, because the last thing John Herdman wants to do is put a star player out there and have him get hurt in that game. So they need Alphonso Davies for the second game against Croatia and the third game against Morocco, probably more so than they need him for the game against Belgium, because they're not expecting to get a result against Belgium. Belgium's one of the best teams in the world, and it's going to be tough to get a result against them.
Absolutely. They are plus 1,200 to win this group. You've got Belgium, who finished third 4 years ago, and Croatia, who were the runners-up. Morocco, you throw in there as well. How difficult is this going to be for Canada, Derek? Do they have any chance at all of making it out of the group?
Well, there's always a chance. They actually got to play the games, and I think the chance is going to come with trying to get a result from Croatia and trying to beat Morocco. And I think that's where everyone's looking at where Canada has to go. I think to get out of the group, you probably need 4 points. 4 points will probably get you out of the group. So that means that they're going to have to try and somehow get something out of that game against Croatia. Croatia were they finalists 4 years ago, and it was one of those things where they got lightning in a bottle. The ball was rolling their way. They got seemingly every call, every break, and they had a very good team. So I think they got all the way to the final and lost to France in the final. But that's an aging side now. Their best player, Luka Modric, is 37 years old. And so the core of that team that went to the final is a lot older, is 4 years older than it was back then. And back then, they were a veteran group already. So I think that's kind of where Canada's looking at their advantage. They got young legs, they got fresh legs, and maybe they can attack Croatia with their speed and their counterattacking on the wings and things like that. So they're looking at that Croatia game. If they can get something out of that Croatia game, it'll set up an exciting match against Morocco, because Morocco is a team that has experience. They've been at this World Cup. This is their sixth appearance at the World Cup, but not a lot is known about their players. A lot of their players play in Morocco or play in Africa, and so there's a bit of cohesion there. But if Canada can get to that last game, needing a win to advance, that's going to be exciting times, and I think that's what they're kind of looking at right now.
So we've seen some of the viral videos making the rounds of the living quarters, and maybe some of the food that's being served at the World Cup to some of the athletes as well. You've been there for not a long period of time, but is Qatar ready to host this World Cup, in your opinion?
I think they are. I think they are. From what I've seen so far, I landed today. I'm actually staying with a friend, so he's kind of giving me the Qatari experience. I'm living with him. I've been at the media center for most of the day, and it looks like everything's ready at the media center. It's a fantastic media center, one of the biggest I've seen. Looks like they're ready to go here. So unlike, I remember being at the World Cup in Brazil, where they were still drilling seats into the stadiums the day before the stadium or hours before the stadium. It looks like they're here, they're ready to go, and I was able to drive by some of the stadiums, and it looked like magnificent facilities. I'm really looking forward to going and checking out some of these stadiums and some of these practice facilities. It looks like it's going to be outstanding. But as far as I know, as far as I can tell, they're ready to go here. They're prepared, and I think once the ball starts rolling, I think it's going to be an exciting tournament.
Yeah, everybody's ready for this to get going. It's been a long wait for this World Cup. Canada opens their action next Wednesday against Belgium. For all of Derek's World Cup coverage, you can find his work at Postmedia and on Twitter at Derek Van Diest.